Yeah, I do have the
By a
longest
little
hair, don't I?
By a little
by a little bit.
I got mine cut today, so
Yeah.
don't have the shortest though.
Yeah, that's cute.
Yeah,
I
will. Yes.
might go bald again.
just like general, like I'm 22. Like,
That's
those are
too
my-
much information.
Too
You want
much.
to get that.
I'll bleep it out. Beep.
I'm 22 and I go to beep, 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 beep.
Yep, that's my introduction.
No, you should be like, I'm 22, and then instead of bleeping it out with cuss words. So it's like 22.
And I don't. It's like, and I don't upload the amount I'd like. That's my introduction. Yet again, it's like non-existent yet. So, and it's just a fun project. Just a fun thing I'm doing. As
I
they play,
shoot you fool.
they play
1, 2,
rock paper
3,
scissors.
shoot.
Rock paper scissors. I'd love to try to. I haven't had much practice editing, but I'd love to try to get like a in the background, like just showing like rock paper scissors and then whatever the result was.
The name's Billy. The one that suggested this movie, so you can all thank me for this video.
Thank you.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Billy. I'll have in parentheses.
No, it's just Billy.
In parentheses, pointy.
So what you're having me have to do, Will, is go back to the video and every time we say Will, splice in you saying Billy. Billy.
I trust you with the editing on this, man. It'll be great.
As
Fun.
as I'm Billy pointed out.
Yeah. I already have the Civ video to keep editing. I don't need more of that.
Oh, shoot. My name's Andrew. I'm the one who hosted
Yeah.
the movie viewing.
Yeah.
okay then?
There's that. Remember, stay in groups less than 10. Be careful. All that.
Smile.
Yeah. Smile.
Smile and wave, boys. Smile
Yep.
and wave.
Wave at the microphone.
Yeah, wave at the microphone.
Hello.
And then
I'm
last,
Josh.
but yeah, Josh.
No. I'm Josh. I'm sweating. I'm normally
It is
sweating.
actually very hot.
I told you it was
No,
hot
no,
in the
no,
middle
no,
of the
no,
film. And you're
It
like,
was
nah,
cooler
it's
earlier.
fine.
It was cooler earlier.
Don't lie to me.
It is mildly warm in the house. It feels great.
It is.
So, your name's Josh.
My name is Josh.
My name is Jeff.
There you go.
My name is Jeff.
And so the end of this video will be the beginning. That's how it'll There we go. We're done.
dream though? We should probably introduce ourselves.
Nah.
I mean, so
we can introduce ourselves at the end. It'll be fine.
I am my voice. He is his voice. He his and he his.
you know,
But here's
Nice to meet
but
you.
what's the difference
Yeah.
between he, his, and he, his?
He is.
I can
that-
edit.
that
I can
is-
edit introductions. I can be like, this voice is this person.
I just realized I was like, Josh said this. I'm like, wait a second.
Yeah. So this is a review thing that we're gonna start maybe
A
doing
movie
time
review.
to time. Yeah. The goal for me is to have it be around once a month. Just get one out there. I haven't actually been staying super true to what I'd like to start uploading, but that's fine.
Great movie.
Yeah, we can watch all sorts of stuff. Doesn't have to be the action thriller. Thriller would be no, it wouldn't be thriller.
Sci-fi thriller.
Yeah.
Action, adventure, sci-fi, fantasy.
Yeah. So today we watched a movie. We're deciding on what to watch. A movie that Will actually suggested we watch.
Well, not entirely.
Because he saw 15 minutes of it one time.
Because he saw 15 minutes of it a while
Sure.
ago.
I couldn't remember exactly what the new or the old one, what movie it was.
Yeah.
After intense research, we found it.
Yep. So we ended up
High
watching
school
the
class.
2012 version of Total Recall, not the 1990 with Arnold Schwarzenegger.
But
Yeah.
we'll be back.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a very much a 2012 film. I don't even know how to start talking about it, but I mean, I guess just a general plot synopsis. What?
I was going to say just that multiple of it, at least me the first time I watched it, because this is my second time watching it.
Mhm.
But me and somebody else, at least, I know Will, like struggled to tell apart the
Oh, yeah.
two main female leads
Yeah.
in
That
the
was-
movie.
It was
because
all.
they
It was
look so
actually
similar.
all right until about 3/4 of the way through the movie. But then when all the intense action started, where they were close quarters and the camera was cutting around a lot.
And their hair was down, and they were both just angry.
Yeah. There was no difference in facial expression. They were both just angry.
Yeah, Will and Josh struggled with that.
No, not this time. Not this time around.
Oh,
I just got the names mixed up.
I still don't know which is which.
And so now there's Lorena.
in terms of
and
names.
So yeah, I mean, general plot. I may need help with this. Maybe. There's a guy who has who. Also, I'll put up like a spoiler sign when there's spoilers or whatever. But the general plot is there's a guy who lives in this post-apocalyptic world where all that exists
Is Australia and Great Britain.
Yeah, it's Australia and Great Britain. There's a big elevator between the two.
That goes
Through the middle of the
straight
earth.
through the middle of the earth.
Yes.
And Australia is very poor compared to the UK. Like Great Britain is very rich.
And there's some sort of resistance, and this guy lives in Australia, but in what's called the colony, but works in the CFB, like main place.
UFB.
UFB.
United
Federation
something
of Britain.
Mm-hmm.
Federation.
Yeah. And the basic sci-fi, or like the sci-fi premise is that there's this thing that can install memories into your brain, make you have lived experiences you haven't had. Recall. Yeah, as the name implies, total recall. And he wants, he's like, oh, would it be cool to be a secret agent? And then they put chemicals in him, and all of a sudden we're in this crazy adventure. It's a bit more complex than that because he was having dreams before. And mystery, quotation marks, ensue in action.
He goes on a journey to find his true self, which he has forgotten.
Yes.
Inner peace.
Yeah, there's a bit of a moral, a moral at the end, isn't there, that the movie talks about. Like, you're not who you were, you're who you are right now.
I don't need to know, one of the quotes from the movie is, I don't need to know my past, I know who I am.
Yeah.
Something
Exactly.
of the sort.
I mean, that's good, but like if you have a couple children from your past life, you may want to know that.
I mean,
Nothing wrong with knowing the past, but you don't have to
Let it dictate.
Makes me think of Critical Role Campaign 1.
yeah.
Don't forget who you are, Simba.
Do not forget. We could review that at some point.
Good.
Lion King.
I think I've only seen Lion King once, and it was probably 10 years ago.
Yeah. But speaking of seeing only once, this was my first time seeing the film. What I think was Andrew's
This
first
is
time?
my third time
Oh.
seeing this film. I've seen this film 3 times and the original twice.
Oh, wow.
So this is my 1.05 time
That's right.
seeing the movie because I've seen about 15 minutes of it before. But it was right in the middle of the movie, so I had no context for what was going on, and I didn't know the resolution to it.
You
so.
saw piano playing and a lot of combat.
Yeah, I saw a lot of people jumping from boxes to other boxes.
Yep.
Which was
Well,
interesting.
that's one thing.
Minecraft.
Well, I think actually in that one scene, that's actually kind of a good place to go because it's kind of indicative of the whole film. Like, you have moments that are, because it's a psychological thriller in some ways, I guess, because you don't know if it's real or not.
It has a touch of Inception. The
Yeah.
movie to it.
So the whole, and spoilers, I don't feel like it doesn't really get resolved whether or not it's real or not, in my opinion.
No.
But
They throughout the movie they sort of give like evidence to both sides that this is a dream or that it's real. So yeah, it's never really resolved which it is.
Without looking at it so analytically, it seems pretty obvious that they just like the ending is real to me. I think that is just like the plain path they want you to take, and I think they leave a detour open kind of thing. Like, but what if?
I think the this is a remake of the 1990 film, even though this film pays homage more to the short story, which the original short story that the films were based off of. And I think in the original film too, from what I've heard, there is a very clear this is what is expected for you to think, but they also leave it open for it could be this as well.
do you remember?
It's entirely true. The first one. That's exactly how it is. But
What do they? I mean,
Well,
what do they
in the
expect
original,
to say?
in the 1990 film, it's more like it's the whole recall thing, but there's different like races and there's mutants, and so there's the people and there are the humans, and then there's like non-humans or mutant humans that look like humans.
Whatever the
and so
reason
there's
they
a
have to wear
very
the mask.
classist
Yeah.
thing,
It sounds like it's just
And-
Blade Runner.
sort of, and
kind of similar.
and essentially, the guy doesn't know which side he's on, who
Uh-huh.
he is, and at the end of the film, it's sort of expected that he is one of the mutants, or like the non-humans, but it's possible that he's also human because of the little recall thing. You don't know for sure.
Okay.
And it has a lot more to do with Mars and spacey and other
Spacey
wacky stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
1990 space film essentially.
Yeah.
1990 space film. But the thing with
the original screenplay does give you a clear ending.
The short story, you mean?
You just think, I don't know why I keep calling it a screenplay. Yeah, it does give you a clear cut ending, but you can read that yourselves.
Fair enough.
I'll tell you guys after this is over if you really want.
But,
because it's quite fun.
Yeah, the piano scene is fun because kind of with the psychological thriller, it sets stuff up, right? So like
Kind of nicely too.
in the beginning, before he does the mind insertion thing, and you begin questioning if it's real or not, he goes like, "I wish I knew how to play piano," and then it's like,
Isn't that whenever he's drinking with his buddy from work at the
Yeah.
bar? He's
And
like,
that's one very sad thing. That if like it all ends up being real, he did shoot his best friend, or like
well, his 6
I
week
guess
best friend.
yeah,
6 week implanted best friend.
yeah.
and
And we also never get to know what happened to his. Well, if he actually had a real life. Once again, I still have no idea when it comes to two female characters who is who and who is real and who is original.
Implanted 6 week wife is Lori, and then IRL, like in
Girlfriend.
reality, there's Lori, or I'm sorry, Melina.
Melina.
So Melina is the
Who is-
resistance
yes.
woman, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
Yes, and she's the girlfriend.
That was
But
Melina.
she's the
and
one who
Lori
actually had a
is-
relationship with him
Yeah, yeah.
compared to just working as a
So I
wife.
forgot already. Which one's Lori? Which one's Melina?
Lori is meaty.
Okay. Lori is the bad woman, and Melina is the good woman.
Yeah.
Okay. So was there? I guess my question asking that was there a real life Lori?
Real life Lori was secret agent lady who was pretending to be his wife.
Yeah, so real
No,
life.
like before the secret agent.
I don't think so.
You don't think
I think
so?
it was just implanted that he had a wife named Lori.
Okay.
Who
Yeah.
he'd been married to for a while.
7 years.
Is that even her actual name?
Ba, 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 ba.
So yeah, there's that. There's the question of what's real or not, and then the action. I'm trying to think what's like this film's really made out of. It's made out of the not knowing if it's real or not, the action set pieces,
A lot of sci-fi.
and sci-fi elements. Yeah, yeah.
Magnetic cars. What do they call the robots? Synthetics.
Synthetics.
And
That was
it
a
didn't
big
seem like
plot
it,
point.
like all the sci-fi of it was like overtaking.
No.
It didn't feel like
It was
that's
the setting,
what they,
but it wasn't essential.
yeah,
It felt
and I
well
think they had a good balance of
integrated.
that. They wanted to make sure, like they left good contrast between the colony, which was like it in the beginning of the movie, it was rainy. A lot of the places were made out of just like plain concrete. There's trash on the streets, and then they show you the colony, and it's almost like the Death Star kind of thing. It's like a lot of white.
You mean the UBF?
What did I say?
UF.
UFB.
You said the colony and the colony.
I'm sorry.
UFB, the world of glass and
The
steel. so to
USB
speak.
is the
USB.
nice white place. No, not USB.
In terms of sci-fi, it did feel very Star Wars aesthetic.
Yeah.
Well-
Except the flying cars weren't flying; they were magnetic.
Yeah.
I feel like, except for one thing.
Yeah, there is the one scene where they.
Where they flew.
That's not flying. That's falling with style.
yeah.
I feel like the sci-fi element of everything was very well integrated into the film. Like
So-
as Will said, it wasn't very overtaking to where it was like shoved in your face.
Well, that was Josh. Was saying.
Josh.
I'll take credit for it, but it was literally
Yeah.
what Josh just
I
said.
know, I was
Okay.
like,
Okay.
I'm not interrupting, but
Like a lot of 2012 films you remember back then, like
they were obnoxious.
sci-fi was like thrown in your face every chance you got, and this one just felt well.
I mean, like the
integrated.
magnetic car chase scene got a little bit over the top.
Yeah, but
that
one
was about
scene
it.
for the
Yeah,
entire
yeah.
movie.
But really, the movie's made out of those set pieces. Isn't it? Like, what's the movie without the magnetic car scene? The
Exactly.
elevator
Right, I'm
scene?
just saying, like, if anything, that would be the scene where it maybe got, if any scene got too much, that would have been the scene. But overall, I agree with you guys. I don't know, I made a mention of this in the middle of the movie, and I still somewhat stand with it, that, as was mentioned before, it's somewhat, words are hard, Inception-esque in the is it real or not. Inception still did, in my opinion, a far better job of just setting the scene for is this real or not.
Confusing you.
Easy.
Yeah. I mean, it's just much more psychologically thrilling in that sense.
And that's much more, like you said while we were watching it, that's much more of the movie.
Mhm.
Inception is all about, like, is it real or not? There's a goal they have, but it's like, is it real or not? In this, there's a lot.
It's just a subplot.
Meanwhile, meanwhile, it's a subplot. In this movie, the real plot is
The
sci-fi
resistance
set
versus-
pieces,
The-
action.
The real plot is who am
I am the Muffin Man.
I mean, the funnest part of this, because it's based off a short story, and they turn it into a movie, that fully explains the action.
Well, this is actually a
pieces.
movie. Yeah, I guess. Never mind. I'm just not gonna try to say what I was gonna say.
This is a remake of a 1990 movie that was loosely based off of a book, but the remake is more closely aligned to the
short story.
book. I'm sorry, short story, right?
That's essentially what I was trying to say. Thank you.
Yes, I'm with.
So, well, I guess just to get the Inception side of it, I'm sure we'll talk about it more. But like, what going around? What do we each kind of think was like a? Do we think it was all a dream? What do we think was real and what wasn't, kind of thing? Because I think my opinion is I think the movie leads you to believe, and I think we said this earlier, but it leads you to believe that he really was this secret agent who ended up being a rebel,
Falling in love.
yeah, and that I guess another part of the mystery though is like maybe he was really a double agent. Like the plan was for him to be a double agent.
Yeah, because the chancellor, the counselor.
Yeah, the chancellor.
He at one point. Yeah, right. At one point, he just came in and like the chancellor was like thanking our main character. He was like, you're gonna be a hero now. You know, like we just need to restore your memories. We have a backup of your memories, right? And so it's like the chancellor
Before you were corrupted, so to speak.
The chancellor and him like were all in at the beginning before the movie even started. But then like once we get into it, our main character becomes this whole other person, which is then like opposing who he was.
But there's also the possibility that isn't the case, because if he was technically always on their side, then the one guy wouldn't have maybe freed his straps, because maybe that other guy really was also like, maybe it was a triple agent situation where they were like,
or maybe it was all just a dream that the serum really did take effect before, like, you know.
And he lived this crazy experience.
Yeah.
Maybe.
That doesn't sound like it'd be a very good night's sleep, but it would definitely keep your mind busy.
Yeah.
For that night. And
I think, yeah. I think he was probably. I'd actually okay. It's just to go around. Like my opinion is, I think he was a secret agent. He was the secret agent who, when he went to the rebel people, ended up wanting to join their side, and that the chancellor was actually lying when he was saying that it was planned for him to be a double agent the whole time, and that he was just trying to get rid of a problem and maintain the asset that is him. I don't know. That would be
a protagonist.
Yeah.
I would taking my objectivity out of it because I know
the short story.
Personal belief. I think that I agree somewhat on the lines with you. I agree that he was actually a secret agent, and he somehow, before recall started, that kind of all brought everything back. And then, but I believe the double agent part, just by how the president was talking to him.
Yeah.
During that part, and after towards the last action-packed scene of the movie.
Yeah.
The way he.
Huh?
No,
sorry, go ahead.
The way he. I don't want to say sorrowful. The way he looked regretful of having to
fight the guy.
Yeah, of having to fight a main character is just the dialogue between them during that fight was reminiscent of.
Fair enough.
We could have been great together. We were this close to greatness.
And in addition to that, I'm with you on all that, Andrew. But also there's the Matthias, who's the rebel leader in the colony or outside the colony.
It's called the No Zone.
It's the no zone. He was a very temporary character in the movie. He was talked about for the first half probably. Then he was introduced, and then didn't get any more of him.
Yeah, that kind of sucked.
But all he said was basically who you were isn't who you are. You choose who you are, and it felt kind of out of place with the rest of the flow of the movie. So I feel like they intentionally put that in there to kind of reaffirm that he was the double agent, but that's just how I saw it.
Okay.
I do wish we saw more of Matthias.
Yeah.
Well, he just showed up to deliver the theme.
Yeah, well, he showed up and was then gone. Like we didn't
Shot
hear about him the rest of the
in the
movie.
head.
Don't worry, I literally I can post edit literally just on the screen say this is a spoiler coming up.
So, our entire conversation is a spoiler. Smile.
Smile. Yeah.
I'm
Or
trying real
anything
hard
like
to
that.
not spoil a lot. I'm like,
Nah, we'll get in.
Picking and
spoilers
choosing
are
my
the thing
words.
We should talk about because we're gonna kind of decide what our I guess average score for this movie would be.
Okay.
But I mean, for me, I agree with Andrew. Essentially, all of the exposition that we get is real. So he was in the beginning a double agent, got his memory wiped, became a triple agent, almost got his memory wiped a couple more times. You know, all of that did actually happen as all of the minor and major characters were exposing throughout the movie.
All right, cool. It seems we're all relatively in agreement with one or two, maybe nuances in there. But yeah. So that's the Inception part, which wasn't really the biggest part of the movie, I guess, is whether or not it was real or not. But
There was a lot more fighting scenes in this movie than I remember there being. Like,
yeah,
I remembered about the car chase. Of course, plenty of like guns, like standoffs with guns.
And there's the whole trolley scene at the end,
Yeah.
which took quite a while. And there's like the in the trolley and then outside of the trolley when it got back to Australia. The elevator.
The
Yeah.
fall.
Yeah,
Okay. Wait, I was like,
Just I think of it as a trolley.
But that's basically what the movie is. Like, if you were to just sit down and go, okay, let's take out all the like action from the movie, you'd probably be left with like a 15-minute, I don't know. There wouldn't be a lot left of the movie. I don't feel.
Yeah.
oh, I want to say
But
something. I
that's
think
not
I'll
bad.
spoil it.
The action set pieces are amazing.
Are you trying not to spoil the short story or the movie? Because we don't care about spoilers for the movie.
Oh, the movie then. Okay.
That's fine. It's whatever.
Okay.
Yeah, if it's about the movie, say whatever.
Yeah, we
Um,
talked too much. We did not have spoilers.
Yeah.
Going to the fall of the fall.
Which was like the last action set.
If they were like the fall of the prison, why didn't they just blow it up sooner?
I was very intrigued why they made such a big deal about it being destroyed at the
Because
end.
it didn't. Because throughout the movie, the fall didn't look super secure for Gideon. Like you had.
On the colony side, no. On the UFB side,
Oh, yeah,
it
but on the
was.
colony side, why didn't the resistance make bombs? Because that technology's still around.
Was the resistance on the colony side of the Earth?
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
resistance was on the colony. They were from the.
Okay,
They were
so
based
where-
in the colony.
So is only part of Australia habitable?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
otherwise, that means that they were inhabiting like the ocean where it's inhabited.
Yeah, so probably it looks like that center part.
Like, and the resistance was getting over to the UFB, and the no zone that they went to, that was in France. They took the subway across what would have been the channel,
Yeah.
and so the no zone where they found Matthias was in like the northern France.
Okay, so the resistance.
The bombings
units
were in like the bombings, quote unquote, were in the UFB.
yeah, the
in
fake
Britain.
bombs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the main place for the resistance was technically the colony.
Yeah,
The
no,
resistance
that's,
was
that's
fighting
where they
for the
were.
colony.
Yeah.
And I will say that that's actually kind of a somewhat realistic thing of like, if you want to disqualify or make invalid a resistance, is you can like fake attacks from them or whatever. That's a very common
But again,
military thing.
Why didn't the resistance just try to blow up
Blow
the
up the
fall
fall,
anyway?
yeah.
Because there wasn't a whole. There wasn't security on the colony side. Not a whole lot.
Well,
So-
there probably was more than we saw because like we didn't go into that.
They showed a lot more of it on the UFB side. They
Exactly.
showed nothing on the colony
They really
side.
wanted to reinforce that like it is
Was-
secure. There are a lot of synthetics.
Was the recall on the colony side or the UFD side?
That was the
the-
colony.
yeah,
That was in the colony.
because at the end they end on the colony side.
Yeah,
and
and
there's
the
the
recall
big
sign.
recall sign.
Yeah.
Because he spelled with K to be cool.
Just like Country Gentlemen. Was fine.
That is a good question. Yeah, but special effects for 2012 was good. It's a very
Yeah.
2012 film though,
Mhm.
because of the action and the kind of action they have, and yeah.
The
The
dialogue for the action.
That wasn't so bad. Normally, I find a lot of the dialogue like kind of insufferable for like action scenes
Mhm.
because it's like it feels like really poorly timed, like either puns or just like sassy remarks. But if it was Laurie talking to what's our protagonist's name? The guy?
Carl.
Husser?
Doug is
Hauser.
the original.
Doug or
Doug is the
Carl.
fake name.
Whenever Laurie, who's like the BA
Double
Chancellor's spy,
Mm-hmm.
they're in the hallway scene, and she comments on like if they're going to kiss, like do it now because it will be their last thing. And then she's
she
like,
remarks.
just be careful about where they've been because she was living with Carl Doug
As the wife.
for 6 weeks.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
doing all things with him.
But I found the scene in the ambulance scene where it's like, I think I'll leave it without giving you a kiss goodbye. I was like, okay, like.
Yeah. So it's
There
like,
was some scenes though where it was definitely 2012 action with just
but
the quick one-liners throughout. I was like, no.
exactly. That was like the only one that I remember as being bad. But all of us were so distracted by like,
We couldn't
Laurie
tell.
is still alive. We knew it because somehow she climbed out of the giant Earth elevator.
Being like halfway through it with
Yeah.
the like 30-foot ladder to climb.
As it was blowing up.
It's people survive things in action films.
Just like we were talking about at the very beginning with the parkour scenes of Andrew saying all of
Yeah,
the names
like-
being shattered.
Their knees and ankles, they would not like adrenaline. Maybe during the scene you keep going, but afterwards,
Yeah.
No. Again, shoes just got really good.
Yeah, in the future, shoes are
Shoes use magnetism so that they're like basically suspended.
I don't think I ever
Also,
saw
is it
anybody's
magnetic?
feet.
No,
like
no,
shoes
so it's
covering
like
the back. I don't think I ever
there's
pictured it,
where
but
your
there
foot
was
is,
never-
and then there's a separate thing.
But
Never mind.
But yeah, so
Big time.
I knew she survived, and I knew like the reason of. Like I knew, like the first time watching, I was like, "What?"
I mean, it was pretty cool her using the disguise thing that she picked up at the
Because we saw
beginning
it
of
once and
yeah.
it was faulty at that time. And then we saw it only again at the end.
But it looked like her clothes changed with it, because she was still wearing her black t-shirt with like the cut above the breast, but like you couldn't see the red, the
I was
silver
not paying attention to
collar.
that closely.
well, to be fair, you could not tell the difference.
I couldn't tell
Anyway.
anything what was
So
going on at that point in
when
the
he
movie.
noticed that
I didn't know that. I think the
When he-
jacket changed in that scene.
when he but to show that it could produce clothing as well is
Yeah.
I don't think I saw that in the beginning. I might have just
Yeah, no, that it showed that because whenever he's trying to get through the I don't
he's
know.
wearing
if it's
he's wearing like that
scanner.
cloak thing
Yeah, he
and
looks-
okay.
he looks
Future
like the-
TSA.
He looks like
Yeah.
the elderly Chinese gentleman.
Yeah,
and then,
yeah.
like
I got
he
it now.
starts freaking out and height changes, colors and clothes that he's wearing changes. And then he starts shooting it up. So.
But yeah, she used that that she picked up from him. But I knew the second time I've seen it, and now I've seen it the third time. I was like, okay, I already know. But it's still cool to be like, wait a second, something's not right.
Something's not right.
Honestly, when he woke up in the ambulance, I was sure it was going back to the whole thing wasn't real. Or
Yeah.
like that maybe he actually did wake up with his wife and his friend Harry was going to be next to him, that they were able to get him out of the recall. That's what I thought was going to
Same
about
here.
to happen.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
it went a very different direction.
See, I did not because as soon as he started waking up, I noticed that the place he was in looked very different. And so I was thinking, and it's like if you remember the video recording that he left for himself in the bank, in the personal box or whatever.
Yeah.
I was like, wait, is he going? Because I couldn't remember the end of the movie. It's like, wait, is he waking back up in the lab where he was seized after he sent a recording to himself?
It would have been really interesting if they had introduced at the very end of the movie a time travel element. Like,
Yeah,
you wake up the
yeah,
nuts.
because I was like, what if it was
If-
future him that had been compromised that sent that message
If he woke
back
up,
to him, and then he.
that would have been a fun ending. If you had just woken up and given the message, and then that'd be the end of the movie. That would have been a great
That
ending.
would have, people would have just
Almost like
been like, that
Groundhog
is so
Day.
stupid.
It's almost like
But it would've been
Groundhog
awesome.
Day, almost like you wake up, give the message, and you go back to the movie.
We're getting to the whole Edge of Tomorrow thing.
Okay. One of the things I didn't understand
We
at
didn't
all,
watch
even
Naked.
after
Naked.
seeing
Yeah.
Naked.
it for the third time.
The movie? I've never heard of it.
What movie?
Naked.
Yeah,
Sorry,
it's
continue
hilarious.
conversation.
That's a hilarious movie. It's a Netflix video, no will. Anyway, one of the things I still don't understand after seeing it 3 times is whenever he gets out of the ambulance after surviving the trick, the assassination attempt that she should have just killed him when he was out, but She waited for him to wake up in the ambulance, talk to him, and she had a gun on her too. But after he kills her, it opens the ambulance door. People just instantly recognize, oh, that's the guy that saved us, even though we've never seen his face.
It's an action film, of course they did.
But he just steps out and sir, are you okay? And he's like, yeah. And I'm
that was actually really funny. They're like, you okay, sir? Like they don't even pay attention to the fact that some woman
dead.
just
But
got shot.
wasn't
They're like,
Melina
"You okay, sir?"
there, outside the ambulance?
Yeah.
Yeah,
she was in an ambulance
She was in a
herself,
different
though.
ambulance, and she came out and was like, "Oh, yay!"
But the fact that one woman was able to convince all of them, who probably didn't know the woman because she was in the resistance anyway, to convince them, this guy is the guy who saved us.
It's like, well, Melina, you got better real quick.
And
Shot she in the different ambulance.
shot a girl through the ambulance. And she falls out, and they're like, "Sir, are you okay?" And then at the end, the guy comes up and throws another safety blanket on her. She had 2 on her already. He just throws her another one and quickly walks away. It's like, I don't understand how they're like, "Sir, are you okay?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, fine."
My favorite scene and action piece in the film was piano scene. I love the piano scene, and just the apartment fight in general with all the moving elevators and.
The hotel fight. I thought you said meant a apartment fight as the first one. When she's like, "Oh yeah, by the way,
I actually honestly forgot about that one until we mentioned those.
I thought that one was really funny because there were several times where one of them just straight up pounced on the other, and it was in their apartments wait, you're supposed to be married? What?
Yeah, that was,
So
also, we realized the apartment was a lot bigger apparently, with a lot more corners and rooms.
Yeah, just not any walls except for
yeah, the elevators horizontally moving and vertically. That was my favorite action set piece, probably.
3.5.
It was fun.
They had that giant door on one.
But
Actually,
yeah, I'm trying to think if I have any because it's definitely like Will said, if you're going into this movie expecting an Inception level psychological thriller, you're not going to get that, and that's I think what I'm most disappointed about is that at the end we didn't get enough of is it real?
Honestly, I wasn't even for the movie itself. I wasn't that disappointed because they took it in a different direction. I was never bored in the movie. I was definitely confused, which led me to not really pay attention to the last quarter of the movie. I think overall they put in another there was multiple subplots going on, and it was enough that you were entertained. It was entertaining.
Let's take that off our list now.
It was not a mind.
I cannot say it's a great movie, but it's a very entertaining movie.
Yeah, and the set pieces are fun, and that's what it's an action film. But I'm trying to think. I don't know if it's an extraordinary action film. I think it's just unique for its setting, its sci-fi elements, and that's what makes the film unique.
I was gonna say, for the sake of its action, no, but it is made unique because of the different elements it includes.
Yeah, the setting,
which is the illusionary memories, and then also the contrast between the UFB and the colony, and what the Chancellor is trying to do, and how it's being. And how the resistance is being framed as this just straight up murder the UFB, we hate them, blow them up. Yeah. Group whenever they're just trying to survive and
trying to get their freedom.
Be treated equally.
Yeah. I'm trying. Yeah, I mean, so big criticism on Will's front is that Laurie and Melinda maybe should have been casted differently, just because.
Probably.
Instead of having 2 brunette women who
at the very least, give them different hair colors. At the very least.
Yeah.
But I think there was a purpose for that in the film.
Maybe just to make. Yeah, but
maybe
also,
that's why Laurie was assigned to him after.
It did confuse me too, because in the beginning there's that dream scene, right?
Which
and he wakes up and he says, "No, you're not in the dream."
I thought that was her too.
I thought that was him lying to say, "Oh no, you're not in the dream." But turns out she wasn't in the dream. It was some other girl.
I think that's the reason why Laurie herself was put as his fake wife, because they look so similar.
Yeah, I was thinking about that.
Because they know that what the girl looked like who helped him try to escape the first time. So I think it was purposely done that way to be like, oh, this will give him some sense of.
I understand there being an in-universe reason for it, but I don't know. It's just
as a viewer,
yeah.
I was confused the first time too, and even halfway through the second time, I was like, oh, I
And really funny close to the end in that ambulance scene where she's disguised, the bad girl is disguised, and Josh, you accidentally said bad girl's name. You were like, "Oh, that's Lori," and in face it's like, "No, that's Melina."
Yeah.
I wanted to be like, no.
At that
please
point,
let-
I had no idea. I
And
wasn't
then
really
it
listening
did
to either.
turn
to
out to be
honest.
Lori disguised as Melina.
Okay,
and it was
if
just
I would
like,
love to
yeah.
go back to that scene and take a still shot of her face as it comes out of the disguise, because the look on her face was like,
Say, oh no.
let's see if I can find that real quick. Just to show you.
But oh, also worth noting, it's PG-13, lots of action. Like, and there's, because we've joked about it, the three-breasted woman scene, but it's really kind of pointless.
entirely.
Yeah.
Like, I guess
Like,
talking about the sci-fi, it makes sense that in the future you could have that, but like,
sure, they have phones in their hands,
yeah,
and like, I don't know. I thought there was an exoskeleton, like a legit exoskeleton at one point, but it might have been a synth.
synthetic.
At
yeah.
the end, it got kind of dark, and some of the synths were black. Apparently, it made it hard to tell.
Yeah,
But-
like black metal.
Again, the three-breasted woman really did feel out of place. It felt like they just kind of did it because they wanted to have a three-breasted woman in the movie.
Yeah, which
And they
I can
probably-
respect.
They
but,
probably
like,
got some viewers for that.
Yeah.
Like, I was looking it up because I was like, please tell me that's not actually a thing. And I looked it up, and a lot of people thought that the actress actually did have a third prosthetic breast, and it was just a part of her costume because it was at like a Comic-Con or something. But she went there. She was paid to go there, put on her whole costume, and promote the movie, and with all three breasts. And people thought that it was a real third breast.
So it was a promotional thing. So then they're like, we have to put it in the movie now because
I think so.
Okay. That's
Because
interesting.
there was, I think, in the
Advertising.
first one, in the first Total Recall, 1990 Total Recall, there was also a three-breasted woman. So I'm guessing it was paying homage to that, being able,
That's the face as she comes out of the sky.
paying homage to that,
Nice.
the
Very
1990s,
scary.
getting more viewers from the promo.
Yes.
That could be, so many memes could be made out of that.
But no real purpose to the movie because like we very easily understood where he was at and where this recall place was located. It was located in like the sketchy part of the town where you go to get a lady friend for the night,
Yeah.
at least. Probably drugs too.
Yeah.
You know, like it
At
was
least.
it was not a nice place
Yeah.
of the colony where he went.
Yeah.
Already not being a nice place.
Yeah. Because of all the oppression and all that.
I don't know how the language is in the original 1990, but it's interesting that the 1990 version is rated R, while the 2012 is only PG-13.
Which is weird for
It's
older
usually the
movies
opposite.
to newer movies. Yeah, it's normally PG-13 to rated, PG to rated.
Yeah, it's normally that like older movies are rated more leniently and newer movies.
So after I just looked through the ambulance scene again to find that still shot of her face as she comes out of it. One of the things I don't notice is she had so many opportunities to kill him. Because when the ambulance driver walks up, she stabs him with a medical utensil instead of stabbing the guy. She had a gun.
I mean,
At that point, I think she had lost and didn't really care about just straight winning. She wanted to get revenge.
She wanted to show that it's me.
Like, yeah, she
Yeah.
wanted to like trick him in, like, and then see the life drain from his eyes. Because like at the beginning of the movie, like we learned that she's like, okay, she's a like an agent, a spy, and she can play a wife very well, apparently for an extended period of time without a problem. But it quickly started to become, it's like she seems kind of insane, and then by the end of the movie, she's just like so hyper focused on getting the revenge or something
Yeah.
that like that's all her character becomes. Because she even talked about how in the hallway scene, how like all we would hear at the academy is how good
Yeah.
Carl Hauser is, you know. And so I think it was that like she didn't know that she was
That kills.
she didn't know who she was with for those 6 weeks. She thought he was just a loser. Hence some of the hard words she says to
Yeah.
him at the beginning of the movie.
well, also, I mean, with the fact that her, just going berserk at the end has to do with, the Chancellor guy telling her to take Hauser in alive, not to kill him. Her giving the orders to kill him anyway, and then the Chancellor's going to reprimand her for that, gets killed. since he's no longer in the equation, she feels that she can do whatever she wants, and she goes berserk tricycle.
She felt like that the entire movie,
Well,
except
yes,
for the
but-
5 minutes where he was standing right
Yeah.
in front of her.
I was talking about like she's supposed to be a secret agent, but she's just going and like blowing everyone down.
Yeah,
You're like,
she had
"Whoa."
no
She had no chill.
concern. She had no chill. Like,
No
There
wonder
would
Carl
be-
was better at his job than
if there were to be a death count for civilians that she killed,
that would be an interesting.
But it'd
thing
be
to
at
find
least
out.
2.
it would be at least probably 15.
But
Yeah.
like, you gotta think the Chancellor
But 15 is greater
probably
than 2.
doesn't even care that she kills people.
Well, no, he's
he-
been killing
because he is
people.
ordering
Yeah.
bomb attacks on his
Yeah.
own people, and then goes on the news and said, "We have to stop the funding for cleaning up the colony because my priority is to protect our citizens."
No, he
Yeah.
said
Rule
my
of law.
priority is to protect the people. I was like the people in the colonies too.
Okay, yeah, something like that. And so it was just
Yeah.
like he was playing both sides. So he probably doesn't care how many random business people she kills.
You're not
He's probably
entirely
more just
false,
upset
but
that she is like,
Trying
if
to
you get
kill
the
him.
chance, kill him. Of course, guns don't shoot right, and
yeah, I mentioned that. Like,
death doesn't stick to protagonists.
I realized that
It's
like
an action.
halfway through the film, they had these short barrel, it looks like MP5s, short barrel SMGs, and
I also shrug. I don't know what gun.
look. Yeah. Anyway, you would think in the future like, they had this futuristic looking revolver and slightly futuristic looking pistols, but
Like a Halo
all
pistol.
the other guns, like you would see the
like
bullets
the
hit.
automatic guns, yeah.
You would see the bullets hit, and it's like, you gave a perfect outline of the person where they were standing.
Exactly.
Like you would think they would get the bullets spread.
Cut to the Pulp Fiction film where they look behind them and all the bullets are around them. They're like, it's a miracle.
You would just think. I think you said this halfway during that movie as well. Was like, guns are meant to kill people, but in movies they have to nerf them so much.
In movies, it has to end in like a knife and fist fight, not a all-out gunfight.
In the movie, it is just a movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's it's
And-
like
yeah.
guns should be more advanced at killing. They should do their job better.
Yeah, there are some maybe.
The kinetic electric guns were pretty cool.
They
Like
were.
they wrapped the thing around the person and then threw them across.
There's
against the wall.
actually real
Yeah.
technology kind of like that for stopping cars. So a police car will deploy. It's a thing on the front of the car that folds down,
Oh yeah, I
and
mean,
it's like a
that's
ratchet strap, and it drives.
not at all the same.
No,
thing,
but it's same premise of a strap being deployed to stop something.
Will's making a face.
Sure.
but I don't know.
Sure, we'll just say yes and leave it at that.
It
I don't
is
know.
a
It's
wrapping.
beside the point.
It is a wrapping thing. It wraps.
If you were running and I threw it at you, I think you would stop one way or another.
But yeah, no. Some of the technology felt like, oh, I could see this being existing and being cool, and some of the technology you're like, eh. And like the guns are an example, or the nature of some of the technology. Like Will probably knows that better than I do, but like.
For example, how Britain is unaffected by the no zone.
Yeah.
Like,
We joke
if
that
it's all
coronavirus,
radioactive, Britain somehow only Britain survived.
I made the comment.
So-
They just have a very positive vent
like
pressure
United
all the way
Kingdom.
around Britain, so it
Yeah.
just pushes all the air out.
Yeah, they set up a bunch of box fans and they're fine.
It's like the Lorax, where whatever the town is in that film is.
Now
like,
Australia makes perfect sense because it's a large island in the middle of the ocean.
Yeah.
And it was the United Kingdom, when it showed like the map at the beginning, like the United Kingdom.
Which I don't know. In the beginning, it said chemical warfare attacks, but I believe UK is a nuclear power. Are they not?
I don't know.
That's the thing is like chemical warfare wiped out everywhere else, including like all of Africa, all of Asia. Like those places are just gone. But somehow, I understand Australia being
Yeah,
okay because it's so far away.
Yeah.
But the United Kingdom itself is a superpower. Like, how
I
is
think
that?
it would get targeted.
How is that not one of the places that you hit first?
But
But once again, it's beside the point. It's
yeah,
just the
so
setting for the movie.
it's the setting for the movie, and you gotta when you're watching any film, you gotta let certain things go and be like, I'm in for the ride. Yeah.
Yeah, well, he
And-
enjoyed it.
At the end of the day, in my opinion, we're gonna kind of get to closing thoughts on who this movie's for. In my opinion, this movie's just like an entertaining, like Will was saying earlier, just entertaining. I'd probably out of 10 give it like a 6 out of 10. Because nothing really great or surprising about it, but it was like entertaining. I don't know if I'd watch it again, but I'd recommend it to other people to see. Or I'd watch it again if I was watching it with other people, but it wouldn't be my first
Or maybe
choice.
watching the original, maybe.
Yeah, I'd watch the original just to compare, but
It's on Netflix.
I'd give it a 6 out of 10 for the action and set pieces and the little bit extra they give. So nothing super grand, nothing super bad. Just solid, entertaining film.
I think I would have to. I mean, because I also now well remember this movie from whenever I watched it when I was much younger and was like getting into this whole genre of movies, like action, adventure, sci-fi, or fantasy, like all that kind of stuff.
Mm.
So like my biased score is probably like a 7 or 7.5.
Mm.
But I think I also have a very exponential scoring chart. So like to go from 9 to 10 is like bounds. much better, you know. But
Yeah, it's any out of 10 system, everyone's is different, so it's not like a solid whatever.
Yeah.
So you'd say like a 7, 7.5.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Anyone else have thoughts on?
I'll give it a 5.5 to 6. After seeing it the third time, I kind of already knew the plot and everything. So I got to focus on a bit more of the actual details
Okay.
of stuff, which was because when you watch a movie over again, you get to kind of look through and be like, haha, I didn't notice that the first time. You get to focus on more of the background than the actual.
So you're saying there is actually like
Forward-facing?
rewatch value to it because you noticed
Some,
things, or-
yeah, probably. Again, I probably want to rewatch it, just sit down and watch it myself.
Mhm.
But if a group of people were like, "Oh, well, let's watch this," I'd be like, "Yeah, sure." But again, as you said, it's not something I would just sit down to rewatch.
Yeah.
But it does have some slight rewatch value. Just for, a lot of the background scenes, whenever you get to the ground level and throughout the colony, was just kind of neat to pick up on. All of that. So I give it a 5.5 to 6 out of 10. It was enjoyable. I could only the first two. As you said, it's nothing overly great. The first time watching it does get confusing with the main characters, with the main female characters.
telling them apart.
Yeah, telling them apart and kind of knowing which one's which.
Anyway, for me, I don't know. I have difficulty rating movies. I don't really have a set 0 to 10 scale that I can base movies off of. But I definitely put this in the class of movies with like Mission Impossible movies. Like, it's super entertaining, decent, good storyline, good setting, but overall nothing super spectacular about it.
All right. Yeah, that's fair, and you don't have to give an out of 10 at all. So
At least Tuesday.
that's
It is a Tuesday out of 10. Yes.
It is a Tuesday out of 10. There you go. So that's the review of what's it called again? Total Recall.
Total Recall.
2012.
2012.
2012.
Right.
And I'll have to remember to put 2012 so that no one
Parentheses.
2012.
Now we want to do our introduction, so you can splice that in the beginning.
We could do that, yeah.
Jump cut, jump cut, jump cut, jump cut.
We'll fix it in post, don't worry.
Yeah, we'll fix it in post. All right then. Well,
What did you say?
That was a song I was singing earlier. It's a VeggieTales song.
You share with your class.
Later, for another time, when you're older.
I'm gonna throw something at you.
cool. So
I heard it was 469.
I am technically recording right now, but I'm not going to put this in. It's just sort of free, whatever. But
This is what you put in the bloopers at the end of the video.
yeah. So yeah, you can see how loud it gets there. It
Woo!
being sort of in here to there. You just don't want it to get to the red, really, because that's not fun. Or it's down here. But it should be good. Yeah. I think this works better too, because before I was trying to do the all-around setting, but I think that caught too much.
Also, some of us are definitely louder than others.
Yes,
thing,
yes,
yeah.
we are.
I don't know